So for each of our Hack Sioux Falls projects, I like to go through and show everybody what the supplies are that we're going to be using. And normally I buy them from a bunch of different suppliers on eBay and kind of just find which one's got the best deal and which one has big quantities. This time, one of the sellers reached out to me and said, hey, you can just buy direct from us if you'd like. And I thought I would give it a shot. So I got almost everything in this one giant box, and it came via DHL yesterday. Now I normally would probably wait till some of the other things got here, but this is the majority of the supplies. And the more important thing is on the packing slip, you can see it says digital analog signal conversion module 1 for $80 and PCB test board 1 for $30. Well, I didn't order either of those things. There should be 25 Arduinos and breadboards and wires and some sensors and things like that. So I'm a little curious to see what's actually in this box. I would say size-wise, it's about the right size for what I did order, and it kind of feels like it's got a bunch of stuff inside. So I'm pretty sure it's correct, but let's open it now and not wait to find out that it is not what we ordered. So let's go ahead and get it open and see what's inside. Okay, so I don't know why they do this, but they wrap it all around in this yellow tape. So I don't know if that's supposed to protect it or what, but all these boxes have that. So let's go ahead and see what's on the inside. Well, just from first glance, it looks like it is not an analog to digital converter kit. It does look like it is what I ordered. Based on the top of it here, these look like all the components. So let me move this box aside and we'll take a look at each one of them individually. All right, this stuff doesn't even fit on my desk, so let's just go through them one at a time and I'll explain what the component is, and then we can go ahead and set it aside. Some of these you already know from past videos. These are our breadboards. These are our solderless breadboards. These take wires, either these here, which each kid gets a whole stack of these, or some of these, and these are just a little bit of a different form factor. I'll explain that in a minute. And they poke in the individual holes, and then we can run wires back and forth to some of the other components. So I ordered 25 of these, so each kid gets one of these, and then we've got a few extras. So let's move these aside. So the next thing is going to be this giant bag here. These are our Arduino Nanos. Now I've been using these. The very first Hack Sioux Falls, we used the Uno, which is a much larger board. And it works great. In fact, there's a lot of pluses to say about the Uno, but I really like the small form factor here. And with this particular project, I think it's going to be more valuable that we can get it inside of a different package, inside of a project. So I went with the Nanos again. There should be 25 of those in here, and I've got some extras from last time as well. So there's those. I mentioned these already. These are the wires. These actually smell really bad. Whatever they do in the manufacturing process, they just smell really bad. So I'll leave them in this box out in the garage for right now. One of the problems we ran into last time is all the orange wires were bad. They just simply weren't connected. The crimps weren't on very well. So I'm going to do some spot checking this time so that we don't find that out on our first day of Hack Sioux Falls. But hopefully with this new supplier, we shouldn't have any problems. Next are these LEDs. Now you can never have enough LEDs. And I just emailed the seller and said I needed 5mm LEDs. And they came back and says, well, we sell those in 2,000 piece blocks, and they're red, blue, green, and white. And I says, great. So this is what I got. Doesn't really matter. These ones are a little bit nicer because they're not the clear colored outings on them. They've got the blue plastic and the green plastic, so we can actually tell what colors they are. So we'll do some spot checking on these, but I'm not really anticipating any problems. We have literally gone through thousands of LEDs on the last couple Hack Sioux Falls, so I'm glad I've got a bunch of extra, and if kids want to build something cool and crazy, they can, or if they get lost or bent or broke, we just throw them out and move on. They're super cheap. The next are these. These are buzzers, or loud kind of buzzers. They're not speakers, they're actually buzzers. So they're going to be a little piezoelectric buzzer in them. So they can just make a tone We can't really play songs or music out of them. You can, but I mean, it's more of just kind of the old school tones. It's not an actual speaker. These are really nice compared to the last ones that we got, which were these little tiny ones. Like I've got an example here. While these work fine, they're not very loud. And I do have some extras too, so anybody wants any small ones. But these are going to work out really, really well. I think these are going to be a lot louder. They've got a much larger voltage range as well. And honestly, they were the same price, so it ended up working out just fine. Next, and I'm not sure I'm going to use these, but I ordered them because they're a little hard to find in big quantities. They're these little LED strips, and they're little, what's called these, they're kind of loosely known as NeoPixels or the WAS2812s. And there's 8 LEDs in here, light emitting diodes, and they're RGBs, and we can individually address the colors of each. So for example, if we wanted to do blinking eyes and we wanted to have this side blink different than this side or kind of rotate back and forth, we can program all that in. These are not very expensive. They're less than $1 a piece. I've just been having a hard time finding them in big quantities. And the nuisance on these is that I have to solder some wires onto them. So not a big deal, but it just takes some extra time. Not sure I have a use for them for this hack Sioux Falls, but I went ahead and ordered them anyway. So these are little red lasers. Now they don't really do anything except shoot a red laser beam out. They're not super powerful, but they look really cool. These, you'll find these in cat toys or maybe even some cheap laser pointers. They're really inexpensive. I mean, I think they're like 10 for $1 or 10 for $2. But I thought the kids might have a good time with them. A couple of things you can do with them is you could shoot them into an LDR, a light dependent resistor, and be able to trigger when somebody breaks the beam, kind of like something when you walk through a doorway and know that somebody walked and broke that beam. So I think this will be a lot of fun. And then I've got one more thing that I think we're going to have a good time with for these. So let me show you that. All right, so right here, I think this is going to be something the kids really like. This is a little tiny servo motor. Now with a servo motor, what you can do is, it's not like what you put on a car that just spins like a DC motor for a wheel. Instead, what this is it's very, very precise, and we can turn it at a very specific angle. I don't know right off the top of my head if these go all the way in 360 degrees or not. Some of them don't. I'll have to play around with them a little bit. I have played around with them before. They're a lot of fun. So what I'm thinking is that we take those lasers and we mount them on the top of this, and now we can use the Arduino to be able to then rotate that laser, move that laser back and forth, either really fast or really slow, or maybe even to a buzzing sound. But these are going to be a lot of fun, and you don't have to move just a laser. There could be something else. Perhaps you've got a skeleton that you want to kind of move its arm back and forth, or just a million different things that you can do. These are really, really easy to use, and they plug directly into the Arduino. So these are about a little less than $1, I think, a piece. So they were very inexpensive, and I got 25. So if some kids want to use 2 of them and do 2 different motions, we can do that as well. So anyway, a couple more things. This is probably the one thing that inspired the whole project to start with. What this is a PIR, or a passive infrared sensor. If it looks like something you might see in a motion detector or a security system, you're right. That's where these are used all the time. These are very, very sensitive, and they've got some trimmer pots here on the side where we can adjust the sensitivity and then also how long it's on. And then this little jumper on the back here will do what's called a trigger versus non-retriggered. But anyway, don't worry about that. What we can do with these is we can program them so that when something moves in front of the sensor, it'll get triggered, and we can do whatever we want. So if you're thinking of like a Halloween-based project, maybe somebody walks in front of your door, what you want to do is you want to have that laser go off, or you want to have the buzzer go off, or you want to shoot some LED lights and do some patterns, whatever. This is going to allow us to know when something is in front of us and triggers that motion detector. So anyway, that's what these are. I've got enough for everybody. They're a lot of fun. I've used them on a number of different projects, and they're really simple to use. And that leads me to the last component that was in this box, and that is these wires. So the reason I got these wires is that if you notice on the back of these, there are actually some male headers, and we need to have those go from here into the breadboard, and we can't do that with our normal jumper wires that have male on both ends. So I needed some that were male and female. Right here. So they only sell them in bundles, so I couldn't really get just what I wanted. So I ended up getting all these other ones as well. But these are what I was looking for, and I needed stuff so I could do. There's 3 pins. So these 3 pins, each kid will get a strip of 3 of these, and then it will plug into the back of this, and then the other end will go into the breadboard so that they can test those out. So anyway, that's all the components that came in this package, and honestly, it was the majority of what I ordered. The only things that were missing from a different seller is going to be some of the battery packs, and then I also just ordered a couple miscellaneous things like switches that we've seen in the past. So anyway, that was a really good sell. It was a really good seller. The experience worked out really, really well, and it was great to get everything all in one package. And more importantly, I got it in less than 7 days. So I ordered it on Sunday, and I got it the following, well, Monday, so I guess 8 days. I don't know exactly when they shipped them, but it worked out really well. So if you haven't signed up yet for Hack Sioux Falls, or you're super curious about what this crazy project is I'm talking about, go ahead and follow some of the links down below in the description to see more, or head over to HackSiouxFalls.com. I have all the information there. You can get registered, you can come help out, you can come see what cool projects that we're building. If you got any questions, shoot me an email or shoot me a message. Thanks, bye-bye.